Okay, how to hold on to your guitar. What's a good playing position? What? There's not. There's a lot of different ways people hold their instruments and a lot of ways they pick and play, but I'll teach you just a standard one. And if you notice, the first thing is this hand is not holding up the guitar. You know, if this hand is doing too much of this, it's gonna be hard to play. So you want to hold on to it, and it's kind of, I'm almost like leaning into it, like slouching on it. And I got my neck pointed up, makes it easier. I mean, classical players hold it like this, so the neck is like, and that does give you some good advantages. But it looks goofy, you know? And that, so we'll teach it the way that looks less goofy. And then you want to hold it up like that, and there's a curve here you can go on. And I'm touching it with whatever this thing is. You know, that's like got an ability to do this, you know, like, and then you bring it in, and how to hold your pick is the next thing, I guess. There's a million ways to do it, but if you cup your hand or kind of let it go, like, you know, it's just a nice light cupping, and then you put it on the side of the finger, you know, the pick on the side of the finger, and then close it in like that. And then you know, the pick has got to be pointed in too a little bit, but you can slightly tap it on stuff or wiggle it around to get it at the right angle. And if you notice, I'm not holding on to a lot of mine, so that's another signature, how much pick you got sticking out. And some people do hold it like that. That's the George Benson. And I don't recommend learning that, not because it's not good, but because I can't do it, you know? Or I can do it with limited abilities, but I find it's not a very natural style. And so I teach it the way I think, you know, most people would tell you. And then you just hinge it in, and then your position's gotta allow for muting. So muting happens when the heel of your hand is kind of just lightly touching the metal. If you got an electric guitar or an acoustic, it's a piece of plastic or bone on an old guitar, and the fat on the side of your hand is just resting right on there, and that allows you to muffle. And if you notice, oh, I actually am holding it George Benson style. There we go. And if you notice what, like, for that to happen, you gotta, I actually have my fingers a little curled under the strings, and if you look at this though too, the angle of the pick, like, it's kind of chewing on the string if I tilt it in, and then it gets twangier and then flatter. And then if you take your mute off. So here's a little exercise. Get in that thing, get it muffly and chewy, and just increase the chewiness till you get like too much. Though, like, for some situations that might sound really cool. And then go back to straight ahead. Now for that, you can see I'm chopping with that side of the pick actually. That's not straight ahead. Straight ahead is this way, this side of the pick. And if you even catch the flat of the pick, it makes a real twangy tone. So just experiment with tilting it. I'm tilting it back and forth, and just to try every little angle. There's no, like, this one is really aggressive, the down chop, and then this is twang, and then this is a little warmer. And when I'm not muting, I'm still anchoring my baby finger on the pick guard. And I know I do that, well, if I had an acoustic around. You could see, you know, shredding this poor old guy. The 1970 guitar, and I'm just like shredding it with my pinky nail. And some people lock it down, like use the flesh, and I don't think I do much of that, though. I should try it. Feels like it's gonna get tired really fast. What I do is have the curled nail, and I'm just using the nail on it as a slider, and it supports the whole hand. And it's actually, in this case, touching the side of the pickup and providing some stability. And okay, so enough about that side of it. Yeah, I got a weird black shirt on. Now this hand, positioning this hand is so important. Like, for one, like we said, it should not be supporting the guitar at all. And if you got to get a nice angle. But here's the idea, I think. Like, that's, if you practice gripping, like, compared to this finger, say, this one is so strong and solid. And like that, the index is pretty strong too. So it's kind of like you're supporting these two fingers, and you can sometimes be between them and sometimes even a little ahead, but it's better to really support that middle finger and with the thumb. And what you're using is the flat pad of the thumb, and you want it to be moving around depending where you are. But mainly I would say like in the middle of the neck, and if you need to, like if something's a hard reach, drop that baby right down to here, and look what happens. Your hand just opens right up, and you get this nice, look at this position. Looks like an ad for Mortal Kombat 3. That was a stupid joke, but there's your position, and try to even do it so you get a little 4-note fingers lining up on each fret, like just kind of line them up. Don't even pick it, and then just have them hovering over, poised to attack. And if I'm playing up here, that's fine, but as I go like this, the thumb is like just bringing way down. And like, say you got to do a long reach on the lowest string, it's like the thumb is like that. Like you gotta be moving that thumb. It's kind of the MVP, most underrated doodad you got going on here. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. And like, think of like how a violinist would be in a picture or something. Like it's, and you can even have like, the thing about a low thumb is it doesn't hurt. Like it doesn't. And so that's the positive way, and do it that way. I urge you, support with the thumb. And then let's get into the topic of some dudes with giant hands, or ladies probably like with big long fingers. You can dangle the thumb over. And I do not have long fingers, so I'm keeping that I'm really moving the thumb low, but I sometimes do like to use the thumb just for like just chugging, and then you can play chords over top of it, like that's the chord that goes with the shirt. So okay, let's get into the do nots. Like, one thing you do not want is this side of your hand on the back of the neck. You know, like doing that. It's gonna cause problems. Unless you have super giant hands, I think it's just because you're gonna get shooting pains up this finger. I've seen a couple students have it, and I've had it before too when I was doing, you know, some too many chords like that. And so yeah, do not use this part of your hand on the back of the neck, and do not have your thumb wrapped over too far if you're not using it. Like if you're playing a lick like in that kind of style, sure, you know, you're using it for a reason. But if you're just like playing this and then your thumb is like that, it's like, oh geez, you're putting a lot more strain on your, like even just doing it a little makes it, I can feel it pulling. And so that's a big do not. And I can't think of too much do nots with this hand. The one thing I would say is don't feel like you have to get away without an anchor. Like don't feel like anchoring is cheating. Like I think most people in the world have some kind of anchor they do down here. And so really really go for that anchor. Yeah, maybe I would say a do not is try not to use the tip of the finger for the anchor. Though, like, I don't know, I think a lot of guys do. So yeah, that's how to hold on to your guitar and playing position. And beautiful. Enjoy your new guitar.